You got Team 1 together with Alone. He has a Feral Druid. Popped off last arena. Looks like a still Necrolord. We got Darley sticking to those Frost Mage plays. Oh, double leggers are going to be so good for mages, man. I'm so excited for them. Kioska's a survival hunter, popped off last arena. We got ourselves Lottie. I'm not sure what to call your name. I'm Lottie. And we got Silent as a demonology warlock with Team 2 together with G4. Oh, I like your helm. Oh, it looks so good. Dude, they gotta add like a fiery effect inside of that helm. Kind of like how the warrior play classes have it. We got ourselves called Drogo in the back, Archie as an enhancement, with Duel gonna be first up. It's Jura in the back as a Fury. Duel kind of chilling down on the other side. The first up is gonna be Darley, Frost Mage, the class with the most amount of slows, versus Monk, which is arguably one of the most mobile classes in the game. Except maybe Demon Hunter. And maybe a Feral Druid. But either way, Blizzard tried his set set up by Darley. Gonna be quick and capped by the Monk with BDB versus Darley. Does he go for a trinket? I think he can. I think he decides to take the damage. Gonna be an Ice Buck as he sees a big burst out of Duel. But Duel doesn't even use Zwen. So Darley at least is playing Frostmage, so he does have double Ice Buck. Is landing the Polymorph with the Mirrors of Torment versus Duel. Dropping down the Frozen Orb, gonna be a big board for the Monk. And Darley is hoping to get up in melee with Duel. Dropping down Blizzard to slow him down. Trying to see if he can get an angle. He needs to get that angle so he might be able to get those flurries, Ice Lances, whatever instant cast proc is gonna be the boopity bop. Ring of Peace knocking him out. And Darley's gonna have to take a little bit of time to get some burst rolling. So it looks like Darley is potentially playing Icy Veins. What, are you Icy Veins right now, Darley? Or are you Ice Phone? Trying to land a poly onto Duel, does land it. And Duel just gotta wait until the next big BDB, so you might be able to have quite a bit of burst. Will not have Zwen this time around. Gonna be images up really early. Darley is gonna go for as many procs as he can versus Duel. Try to keep him slow, try to keep him big. Gonna be that BDB again. Darley trinkets out of it with a shimmer away. As Duel try to close that gap. Nova is going to stop him in place. Going to be some freebie Frostbolts with a ring of peace, not a ring of peace, not a ring of frost, Frozen Orb, which actually did get nerfed for PvE purposes. Why would Blizzard nerf it? Going to be actually quite a bit of damage versus Duel. Does interrupt domination. Going to be some Frostbolts for Darley. As he did himself, I believe, alter time, trying to see if he could Frostbolt down Duel as best as he can, just to make sure there's Blizzards around the corner. Dude, Blizzard nerfing the damage and the effectiveness of Blizzard, as well as Frozen Orb for the PvE reasonings, I think it's going to end up kind of sort of hurting. Actually, it's definitely going to end up hurting Frost Mages within PvP, because they do end up Frozen Orbing and Blizzarding quite a bit, especially when it can hit multiple enemies. Duel trying to go for Big Fist of Fury, rooting Darley in place, going to be Dora Shadows to get away, as Darley going in for as many procs as possible. Ice Lance and a Duel back to back, so he's playing like a really proc-based build for a mage. He's playing like a very Ice Lance heavy, flurry heavy build, with a lot of procs, not going for the big Frostbolts, but rather trying to build up procs of flurries and Ice Lances, and trying to make the most damage happen from that. Gonna be Lexi but a Darley, could go for an Ice Buck if he needs to, does have it ready in case things go bad. Looks like he's gonna take a bit of damage, but he's gonna absorb a lot of the damage into the triple shield, trying to get a Frostbolt as well. Looks like trying to land a poly, gonna be in cap. And Darley is gonna have to go for an Ice Buck as Zwen is clawing at him. That's gonna be a tough one here, but eventually I think the mage could get himself enough setup in order to defeat a Monk, though Monks and Duels are just kind of nuts. Especially as a Necrolord with the birds that you got, big flurry onto Duel, is getting hit with the Ice Lances, and Darley, with the Alter Time, is going to be able to recuperate a lot of his health back as he gets an angle onto Duel, trying to see if he can ring a piece, and not going to happen. Duel is just out in the open with a Nova. Darley could potentially maybe make some damage happen. I think Duel is trying to get interrupted in capping Darley. Does Duel have a Fleshcraft? That's my question right now. The Monk tried to see if he could bail out of there. Darley getting quite a bit of procs. Duel actually taking a bit of damage from the procs. And the Monk needs to go and hurry up and heal as best as possible. Blizzard and Frozen Orb are doing damage to him. Lots of procs for Darley. Actually doing quite a bit of damage right now. Gonna be the big 45 brew. And Darley wants to make sure he gets himself yet another Blizzard around the corner. Gonna be another Ice of it. So if anything, he gets himself lots of haste. Interrupt him on that Shadow. Trying to make sure he doesn't get interrupted by Duel. That's gonna be potentially in cap or other abilities. Try to see if he maybe can set up a full Mirrors of Torment, but the next go by Duel could be really huge. It's going to be a trinket, missing that BDB versus the mage, but it's still going to be Big Fist if you're locking him down. Darley does have all the time in case he dips really low. It's going to be able to regenerate quite a bit of that health back, and does get himself triple shield in order to keep himself alive. Trying to let a poly onto Duel, does get interrupted on it, and Darley get hit with a touch of death. Super unfortunate. I think he did the very best he could. It is as much burst damage as you can. I feel like you have to play for like a big one-shotty burst with that Kyrian. if you really want to be able to maybe potentially get like a big go, because you need just a chance. But playing for the vent here, I feel like in a real arena like 2v2 or 3v3, where you can have an ally peeling for you, I feel like that could actually work. Alonia trying to get the dots rolling. Duel hit him with a Fist of Fury. Gonna be Shackles. Oh yeah, Shackles is still a thing. On PTR, nobody ever got to use Shackles since that trinket has basically got rotated out completely. But right now in the offseason, Shackles is still as a trinket, so Duel did have a lot of his healing necrotic out. Another stone onto Duel, does trinket out with an in-cap BDB set up onto Alonia. Does he go for a trinket? The Feral only burning a Barkskin, hoping that will be enough. Duel rotting down with a Fist of Fury. Even though BDB got nerfed, he's still doing quite a bit of damage. Whirling Dragon Punch making a number. Alonia's self-healing got nerfed in this patch, so yeah, I think he's actually feeling it. Wall is up in bear form, I think burning a second. Friends and Regen back-to-back. Bash on the Duel, trying to go for Cyclone. Duel does not have a way to get out of it. Although he was next to Alonia, if only he was literally right in melee range for that interrupt. I think he could have actually interrupted that Cyclone. Being an Orc, he doesn't sit stuns long at all. Alonia back in cat form, no defensive available. Let's take a Barks coming up very soon. It looks like Duel is just going to go for a bunch of Vivify. Alonia better be careful. In cap by the monk as he's backing up out of there, looking for a bit of a reset. As Duel getting hit with a maim, Alonia trying to get some big bleeds in there. Is that going to be massive rotting bleed damage on Duel? Looks like the Feral looking to back up out of the Duel. Has himself a big BDB. Does he have a Karma? I think he's trying to get interrupted on nature. He might just need a Karma versus Alonia. He has a BDB down. It looks like the monk is actually going to bail out of the complete. It looks like the bleeds are really rotting him down. Looks like that healing survivability for monk there is actually putting him behind right now. As Duel trying to catch up with as much healing as he can. Gonna be a quick stun on Alonia as the monk trying to see if he can drag and kick out of there. Fist of Fury locking down the Feral as he goes in for a flash counter. Knows he's gonna get interrupted, but just wanted to stop the Fist of Fury as best as he could. Skull bash him, but he didn't touch him. It looks like Duel is gonna get rotted down by the Feral Druid. Does end up taking him out with G-Funk up next. We're hitting that 7-minute mark, boys. 12% dampener with this one. A G-Funk setting up traps for the Feral Druid, setting up flares. Alonia does end up sneaking past all of it. Getting an opener onto G-Funk, who is playing Necrolord. Quick Feint Death is trying to go for Scarabee. Going to be an interrupt. Maybe G-Funk has another Flesh Cut available. Does activate full burst. Going to be Flank Strike, almost like juking out Alonia. Alonia without a trinket, actually Barkskin is the only thing to have. Big chakram damage, does have the chakram explosion, so he's not playing defensive at all. He's actually playing all damage with a chakram explosion. But G-Funk is rotting down. He needs to find a way to clear these bleeds. Manic Bandage, he's not playing that Feint Death legendary, so he's actually quite susceptible to damage. Gonna be the trinket. G-Funk is putting himself out in the open, making himself quite vulnerable in this duel. Tossing out nades, lobbing him at Alonia as they go for a Tiger's Fury, trying to just get as much damage, as much bleeds into G-Funk as they go for Feint Death. Shackles Malediction. Alonia does have a Shadow Mill for its sound. Back to G-Funk. Oh, Eternal Shelter, the bleeds, I think got him. Does remove the bleeds, but the dots, Moonfire is still rotting him. Oh, oh my goodness. No way. Arky trying to see if you might be able to AoE Alonia out. And Alonia looking for a complete reset. As Arky picks up the eyes, there's no way this Shaman is not going to be able to get this Feral out. Ghost Rules charging in immediately. Alonia with a Bark Skin and Wall immediately. Going to be the Primordial getting set up. Big Lightning Bolt out of Arky. As a wall comes down right before that Ellie Blast connects. Going to be a stun maim onto Arky. She uses a trinket as he decides, you know what? I need to get myself as much healing as survivability. This is a Feral just popping off everything. Shackles Malediction. Arky trying to run in the other direction, break the chain. But the chain has quite a bit of range to it. As Alonia goes in for a couple of regrowths, Arky get it back in the Cyclone. Potentially going to be grounding. No, actually just letting it happen. He knows there's a Flesh Cuffed up next. And I guess he was like, you know what? Maybe interrupting Alonia on nature and letting him Flesh Cuffed while you could at least like start damaging Flesh Cuffed might not be the worst idea. Going to be the Ursal's keeping the Shaman in place. Does get himself heals in between, but not using a full Maelstrom. He needs to make sure he's using heals at 5 Maelstrom. He does still get faster cast. Tried to Hex Alonia, but he knows it ain't happening. He knows it ain't happening. This is going to be Flesh Cuffed as the Feral walks away from Shaman just for a second. Going to be a potentially Grounding Totem. Grounding Totem was used by Arhi. Alonia super low in health. Does it go down? Looks like what the? Wait, the Cyclone didn't work? Wait, did Grounding absorb 2 Cyclones? What happened? Huh? Was he DR'd? I feel like he should have got CC'd. Crazy. As Arki looking for a bit of a reset, Silent get himself a full Flesh Cuff. Looks like it's going to be immediate opener with curses onto Arhi. It's just spinning to win, summoning Vile Fiend as Silent looking to get some big damage onto Arhi. Gonna be a stun, most like a second stun to follow. Arhi's out in the open with a wall, trying looking to blast him, trying to create some line of sight from all those beds. Silent chasing after him. It needs to make sure that they get the full Necrolord burst. There's going to be a Mortal Coil, Decimated Bolt, line of sight is established. Needs to go for big instant cast, trying to get more hand cooldowns. Arhi could be in real big trouble, potentially big damage into Arhi. Sunder back into Silent. Needs to make sure that he uses Ground Totem at the right time or has some sort of defensive Ghost as a backup, so at least he can get Maelstrom rolling. And it's going to get the Wolfies back in there. Silent with that wall. Now with a wall. It looked like they popped a wall earlier, but instead they were just purple. Got all Void Elfie. But should be able to get quite a bit of damage towards Arhi. And Arhi's still under ton of pressure from all those pets. Silent does get this line of sight, decimating bolts, but looks like the bolts, the demon bolts, are not doing nearly as much damage as they could be. Those are not the empowered ones. Drain life real quick for Silent, just to recover a bit of health. Stun totem coming down for Arhi. Port out for the Warlock, getting away from him. So Arhi has to go charging back up the pillar. And Silent just waited until they have big CC again. Mortal Coil, stuns, they need as many of those as possible. Grounding Totem getting taken out by Silent. Quick interrupt by Arhi though. And Arhi no longer with the trick. And so Silent, if he can control him somehow, this would be perfect. Sunder onto the Warlock. Does get to bail out of there. There's going to be Dark Pack giving him quite a beefy shield. But Lightning Bolt's burning right through him. Trying to drain life through Arhi as best as possible. Wildcat stunned. Ellie Blast dunking on him. Taking him out. Oh my goodness. That was such a clutch back and forth between the two. Lottie up next with a full wings. I think just burned a Hodge into a grounding totem. Gonna be a final wreck. Archi's under a ton of pressure. Does have a wall for this. Does have a bit of mana. But a 41% dampener. That healing is gonna be quite heavily reduced. And Lottie just looking to burst him down with full wings. As Arhi bailing out of there. You got grounding for the next Hodge. If you can set another one up, he'll be in a great spot. Lottie dropping down. It's going to be Arhi chasing after him. As Lottie backing up out of there, this Paladin is walking in with full immunities available. Well, really one against Shaman. Like, Bop is not going to do nothing. Especially with this man playing LE Blast and Lightning Bolt build. Going to be a big primordial. As he sends the lightning, going to be a bubble right before the lightning connects. And Arhi looking to supercharge himself, getting some cooldown reduction, which is going to be quite massive, especially for those defenses. Lottie does go for another Hodge again, but the grounding comes out. Arhi with them clutch groundings. Frost shock onto Lottie, who no longer has a hand of freedom. And Lottie trying to build up as many resources as he possibly can. Does get himself the big Kyrian burst. Final wreck, potentially big damage versus Arhi. Looks like Lottie might need a bit of healing though. Looks like he's trying to stay kind of aggressive. The healing is reduced heavily with a 47% dampening. Big lightning bolts took him out by Arhi. Bop ain't stopping you. And Bop, as he zaps him down, with Kiosk gonna be up next. Sending in the pets versus Arhi immediately, but Arhi has walled back up. If Arhi pre-walls this burst out of Kiosko at the right time, he'll be in a fantastic spot. Looks like the Hunter's having a hard time chasing after this wolf. Stun onto Arhi. Did not pre-wall this burst. Has a trinket in case he needs to wall up right now. Needs to make sure he's getting Maelstrom. Get himself big cooldown reduction, but needs himself more healing. Does get the Earth Elemental for extra health to bolster himself. Trying to get heals in between, but no Maelstrom in order to amp this up even more. Ghost is available very soon. Trying to land inside the Hunter as best as possible. Gonna be harpoon around the corner. Fleshcraft is desperation. As Kioska tries to interrupt it, Arhi cancels it. But Kioska does end up taking him out. When you caught that low, the Hunter is just gonna end up taking you out. With Khal Drogo up next, picking up the eye immediately. That's what I really hate about the eyes. Like, he knows that he's like, wait, I picked up the eye. Like, in his mind is like, I definitely picked up the eye. Like, why am I not seeing this guy? Or maybe a trap tripped and Kioska got put on a camo. I hate it when you walk by those things and then nothing. You gotta like walk, stand next to them for a second. I feel like they should be more responsive. Khal Drogo doing a bit of damage towards Kioska. Kioska going for a feint death for a second. Khal Drogo taking a bit of damage of his own. No more karma as he's rotating every defensive. It's going to be 4 brood together with a diffused magic. Kioska still has him on the ropes. I think it could still be into Khal Drogo. Does go for a port. But he ports into heaven. That's Sajiro charging out, trying to land the big execute on Kioska. There's no way the Survival Hunter is escaping as Sajiro slamming down the big hammers on his head. Yo, with Arhi, 3 kills in a row. Lots of healing, man. This is Shaman healing got nerfed, by the way, chat. Yeah, it got nerfed. Yeah, 9% nerf to healing surge. Yeah, that's gonna do the trick. That's gonna do work. My God, I don't know if they were trying.